Hi, good afternoon all and welcome to Bridge Course Bio classes. First of all, a very heartful congratulations to all of you. So you have scored very well compared to previous year results. This area you have given very satisfying result, and especially for state level 4th rank and 6th rank winners, especially Mingonda. Very heartful congratulations. Yes, coming to our class. In the previous class we observed two major concepts. The first one is concerned with that rhythmic mechanism of heartbeat, that is the cardiac cycle, and another one is the ECG, electrocardiograph. So these two aspects we observed, and today I have come up with another beautiful concept that is concerned to the blood clotting, how the blood is going to clot and what actually the BP, blood pressure. So today let us observe these two concepts. And before going to the class, in the previous video, in the previous class, I observed two questions. I asked two questions. The question number one, our heart, that means the mammal's heart as well as in the bird's heart. So we can see the four chambers, two auricles and two ventricles. So what it suggests, oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. So it get completely separated. Segregation of these two blood types is we can easily identify in case of the four chambered heart. So in case of birds and mammals, heart is four chambered. In other organisms, for example, in case of the reptiles, in case of the amphibians, in case of the fishes, we can't see such kind of separation. So if you are having four chambered heart means what is the benefit of that having four chambered heart? This was my first question. So for this question, many members have answered, maximum members have given very accurate answers. Along with that one, I asked one more question. The question was that, so per heartbeat, per rhythmic cardiac cycle, 0.8 second time is required for heartbeat. So per heartbeat 0.8 second means, so actually in the diastole time, diastole means resting time, it is somehow considered to be the resting time. In the diastole time, the heart is resting for 0.53 seconds. Then I asked the question that per heartbeat 0.53 seconds it is the time taken by the heart has the rest means, then how much time has been taken by the heart for 1 minute? So these two questions I asked and many members have answered. For a few students, if you want to mention who has given accurate answers, some of them are Sahana Auti, Bhavna M, Shashikala, Ankita, Arati, Sushma, Tejashwini, Dastagir, Suhas, Ramagonda, Nagaraj, Spurti, Deepa M, Bhagya and Sanskriti, and many more. So especially these students' answers I felt accurate. So what are those two questions? The first question is that if the four chambered heart is present means oxygenated deoxygenated blood separation, if it is possible means, so it's majorly having two benefits. The first benefit is, of course many benefits are there, so here I am expressing only the major benefits. So first major benefit is oxygenated blood is separate means, if it is not mixed with the deoxygenated blood means blood is majorly filled with oxygen means, so maximum amount of oxygen is given to all the body tissues, all the cells. That means all the cells present in the body will get a maximum amount of oxygen. So what it indicates, why that oxygen is used for means that oxygen is used for breaking of glucose. So once if it is getting breaking the glucose means ATP production, energy release is more. That means body energy efficiency will increase. Suppose if our body is considered to be a machine means, so machine should be having more efficient level. If the machine is more efficient means that is a good machine. If we are having a more energy level, if we are having more ATP production, then we are considered to be the good machine compared to all other organisms. That means body energy level, body energy efficiency will increase when oxygenated and deoxygenated blood gets separated, and that is majorly possible because of presence of four chambered heart. In between septum is there. And also along with that one, why we need more energy means we are the warm blooded animals, birds and we both are considered to be the warm blooded animals, and one major property we are having, that is homeostasis. Homeostasis means keeping the body temperature constant inside internally. That means, for example, if you consider human body temperature, that is 37 degrees Celsius, right? So our body inside internal temperature is 37 degrees. So that means internally always we have to keep that temperature in the 37. Why? Because if any fluctuation in this temperature means, so enzymatic reactions will be disturbed here inside the body. Hence, keeping the constant body temperature is considered to be the homeostasis. That is a part of homeostasis. So to keep that body temperature always constant, body needs more energy. So body energy level should be high. So because of that reason, 4-chambered heart is very helpful. And one more thing, oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood are totally separated means, then we can send to the lungs, we can send only particularly deoxygenated blood for oxygenation process. That means the blood will give the carbon dioxide to the lungs and it will take the oxygen. Suppose if the both get mixed means, then it is not suitable for the in point of view the lungs. It is not suitable, that blood. So because of that reason, so 4-chambered heart is very helpful. And one more question I asked, 0.53 second, it is the resting time of the heart per heartbeat. Then how much time has been taken by the heart for 1 minute? So you can easily do that one. Per minute the heartbeat is 70 times. Let us consider 70 times. 70 times into that time. So here 70 times the heart is beating, and per beat is 0.53 is the resting time. So you can easily calculate that one. Yes. Yes. Today let us consider two important concepts. So majorly blood clotting process. But before going to that one, let us see what exactly that BP is, blood pressure. Yes, if we consider the BP, ಏನು BP ಏರ್ಸ್ಕೋತಾನಪ್ಪ ಭಾಳ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಇದನ್ನ. Here the BP, if we consider its significance, there must be BP, there must be blood pressure inside our body, otherwise we will not be survived. It is must, it is very significant factor. So what actually that BP means? So before going to that one, let us consider blood vessels. So what these blood vessels are? As already we know, the blood vessels are the small, thin, very pipe-like structures inside our body, throughout our body. Those pipe-like structures help in the transportation of the blood. So in the blood vessels, we will get majorly three types. The first one is the artery. And the second one is the vein. And third one is the capillary. So we are having three types of blood vessels in our body: artery, vein and capillary. Artery blood vessel work is carrying blood away from the heart. When the heart will pump the blood, when the heart will pump the blood, at that time blood will go outside of the heart. That blood has been taken by the artery. So artery work is transporting the blood away from the heart to all the body parts. So let me mark it. It is the away from the heart. And vein work is opposite. So it is bringing, or it is carrying the blood towards the heart. Its work is carrying the blood towards the heart. That means from all the body parts, whatever the blood is coming for oxygen, for pumping process, for that blood enters into the heart through the veins. And these are the special things, capillaries. Capillaries means when artery and veins, when artery, it is considered to be the big pipe, artery. When artery will divide, it forms branches, branch structures. Those branch structures will call them as arteriole. When arteriole will further divide, we will get the capillaries. In the same way, if we consider vein, it is also one big pipe like structure. Imagine it is on pipe like structure. When it will branch out, it forms venules. Vein form venules. Venules will further divide to form capillaries. So what I am telling is, when arteries and veins will divide more, we will get very very thin small pipe like structures. So those are the capillaries. Actually capillary work is to provide oxygen or to take up the carbon dioxide from all the tissues. That means they will enter inside the tissues. Artery and veins, as it is, they cannot enter inside the tissues. Capillaries will do that work. That means capillary work is connecting both the artery and vein. It is a bridge like structure. So like that we are having three types of blood vessels. Out of these three types of blood vessels, if we consider, imagine first one, let me consider this is the artery, pipe like structure. Let me cut the artery and observe like this. We will get one circle, transverse section, cross section of the heart, transverse section, sorry, artery. So here if you observe, it looks like one circle. Now we have cut the artery. So inside we can see the wall. This is the wall of the artery, this much, right? In the same way, if we cut the vein, inside we can see this type. This is the cross section of the wall of vein. And in the same way we can observe the wall of capillary also. Out of these three, so especially if we consider the vein, so here, sorry, artery, if we consider artery, the wall of artery is more thick as compared to the wall of vein. It is more thick, and because since the wall is very thick, internally whatever the blood is flowing, here internally whatever the blood is flowing, that blood will feel the more pressure or more opposition offered by this wall. That means, see, imagine if the ball is moving on the any surface, if the surface is very rough, then the movement of ball will be restricted, hidden. If the surface is very smooth, means the ball can go easily without any frictions. In the same way, here also the wall is very thick and it is offering more pressure inside the blood, whatever the blood is flowing through it. So because of that reason, here blood pressure is more. That means when heart will pump the blood suddenly with some pressure it will go outside through the artery, but artery wall is thick. That means thick artery wall also exert a pressure, that means oppose the flow of blood inside. Because of that reason, here blood pressure is created inside the body. Because of that blood pressure, it is flowing to all the body parts, that blood is flowing. But in case of vein, what is the work of vein? Vein work is bringing the blood towards the heart. When it is coming towards the heart, at the time pressure will not be more. Why? Because pumping blood pressure is more. When the blood is coming towards the heart, the pressure will be usually less, and here the vein is having the thin wall. So here usually blood pressure which is passing through the vein, their blood pressure is less. Now let us leave this one. Let us consider these two: blood pressure in the artery, blood pressure in the vein. So usually the blood pressure in the artery, the blood pressure is 180 mm of Hg, and blood pressure in the vein is 120 mm of Hg, and this one is 80 mm of Hg. So blood pressure in artery and blood pressure in the vein, right? So what is this mm and Hg? Mm means millimeter, Hg means mercury. Why here mercury is used in this unit? Why? Because already I think most of you have seen the BP checking meter. We will consider it as a sphygmomanometer. Right? Sphygmomanometer is the device, or it is the instrument which is used for checking the BP. Yes, we will be tied up with one bandage, and that will be connected with a pipe, and the pipe will be having something to push like this. So automatically they will check the BP. So while checking, there will be a meter. So I think in the diagram you are seeing that one. So there is a meter. So that meter at the center, it is having on a thin capillary tube. Inside that capillary tube there is a mercury. So mercury level is increasing as the BP is there here in the inside the body, blood pressure is there here. So when the mercury level is increasing, so side we are having the scale. So by observing the scale we can check out how much BP is there here. So when the blood is flowing in the artery, normally it will be having 120 mm of Hg. When the blood is flowing in the veins, it will be having 80 mm of Hg. That means what is the average blood pressure? We can write it as 120 to 80. This is the average blood pressure. Yes. So average blood pressure of a person is 120 to 80 mm of Hg. So this one is concerned with and one more thing, I will consider this one as artery also. Yes, artery. How means, when heart is present in the systole condition, systole means contraction. When the heart will contract, blood will come outside of the heart. That means in artery the blood pressure is 120 mm of Hg. When the heart is in diastole condition, when the heart is relaxed, blood enters inside the heart. At that time, inside the artery also, the pressure is 80 mm of Hg. So in that sense, I can write it as 120 to 80 mm of Hg. This is the normal range of blood pressure in case of the human beings, right? So here, and one more thing, we can hear these two terms, HBP and LBP, high blood pressure, low blood pressure. High blood pressure, it is also called as hypertension. So hypertension, what it indicates? So blood pressure will be increased above this level 120, more than 120 the blood level, that means the blood pressure will be increased. Then such kind of condition we will consider it as the high blood pressure or hypertension. Why this happens? So means, just already I have told you, artery, that pipe will further divides into arterioles, arteriole further divides into capillaries. When artery divide into arteriole, arteriole is smaller than the artery. Say for example, if this is the artery, means artery will divide into arterioles. That means internal area, internal diameter of the arteriole, this is the arteriole and this is the artery. Internal diameter of the arteriole, it is smaller than the artery, and there again blood pressure increases. But sometimes inside the arteriole, if there is a more constriction, if the arterioles are constricted more, internal diameter decreased more because of some other different factors. If the internally arteriole constricted means, then blood pressure will goes on increasing more. Then that condition will refer it as hyper blood pressure or hypertension. So if the same condition continued more means, then there is a chances of breaking of arteries. The artery pipe will leak, it will break, it will rupture. When that pipe will rupture, there is a leakage of blood inside the body. Internal bleeding, we will call it as a internal bleeding. That internal bleeding, if you don't care that one, if you properly, if you are not treating that one means, then it may lead to the death of that person. So this is a severe condition one. And one more thing, inside the artery or whatever it is, inside this one, sometimes the cholesterol get deposited. External fat contain cholesterol. When the more amount of cholesterol get deposited internally to the heart vessels, that means the blood vessels, then the area of that artery through which the blood is passing, that area still decreasing. Then again blood pressure is increasing more. Sometimes if this addition of cholesterol is more means, then it leads to the blockage of or clotting, blood clots internally, that leads to the blood clots. Then how actually the blood clotting process is occurring? That is a very interesting one. Yes. So if we consider the blood clotting process, ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ರಕ್ತ ಹೆಪ್ಪುಗಟ್ಟೋದು ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So how actually the blood is going to clot when it oozes outside the body? So at any injury time, so at any damage time, so the suddenly blood will oozes outside. After few minutes, suddenly the blood is that is bleeding process, it will be stopped. Why? Because there is a formation of a clot. So at that place, just like a sealing. So how that actually the clot process is occurring over there? So clotting, it is also called as a coagulation of the blood. If we consider that process, just I told you, blood is flowing inside the blood vessels. If the blood is flowing through the blood vessels particular means, then we will call it as a closed type of circulatory system. If it is moving, if it is not moving any through the particular vessels, or if it is moving in between the gaps of the body means, then we will call it as a open type of blood circulation. But here we are having a closed type of circulation. Blood is particularly moving through the blood vessels, so automatically it will be having the BP, blood pressure is there here. So that blood pressure, it is very helpful for transporting blood to all parts of the body. Even though heart is present at one place, even though receiving tissue is present at one place of the body, in between if the distance is more, then also if it is possible because of the presence of blood pressure. But when there is a cut in the blood vessels, then suddenly blood will comes outside. When the blood will come outside at that time, so there is a chance of decreasing of blood pressure automatically. When the blood pressure will decrease, then the sufficient amount of oxygen, sufficient amount of nutrients present in the blood cannot be transferred to all the parts. Then eventually the person may die. And there is one severe condition in that sense. So that is a hemophilia. I think you have heard this term, hemophilia. It is also called as a bleeder's disease, or also called as a royal disease. So in case of hemophilia, suppose it is a one genetic disorder. Suppose the person is suffering from hemophilia, if he is a blood vessel cut means, then the blood will oozes outside and it will not stop suddenly. It will take more time. Sometimes it may not clot. In that sense, the person will die. So because of that reason, clotting process is at most important. Within 2 minutes or 3 minutes, or maximum within 4 or 5 minutes, the blood will has to be clot. So how that clotting process is occurring actually? For that clotting process to occur, here majorly few things are required. The first one is prothrombin, and the second one is thrombokinase, and the third thing is fibrinogen, and another thing is calcium ions. Yes, these are 4 must things should be present in the blood or in the body to happen this blood clotting process. Say for example, let me consider this is the blood vessel. Yes, and above the blood vessel, let me consider this is the skin. This is the skin, epithelial tissue. Not directly epithelial tissue, there might be connective tissue also. Now just for understanding purpose, so this is the blood vessel. Through the blood vessel, now the blood is flowing, right? When the blood is flowing, automatically it will be having the certain amount of blood pressure. With the blood pressure it is going, and above there is a skin. At any point, if the skin get injured, say for example the skin is cut here, right? Now the skin is cut here. Let me show that one. Now the skin is cut here, it is open. Along with that the blood vessel also ruptured. The wall of blood vessel also ruptured. Then what happens? Suddenly the flowing blood, it will oozes outside. Why? Because it is having pressure. Because of blood pressure, from higher pressure to lower pressure side, the blood will come outside and it forms one drop, blood drop. So we will wipe that blood drop and automatically another blood drop will come outside, oozes outside. We will wipe that one. Then continuously the blood drops will oozes outside if there is a cut of blood blood vessel. And that process will not occur continuously in a normal person. After few minutes, 2-3 minutes or maximum 4 minutes, so the whatever blood is coming outside, it gets stopped. It will not come outside, it will not oozes outside. Why? Because here whatever the gap is created in the blood vessel cut, that gap is filled by these factors. The total process we will call it as a blood clotting or coagulation process. So there, let me consider the first one, prothrombin. Prothrombin, it is one protein, right? This protein, it is released by liver. So liver will produce this protein, prothrombin. But thing is, prothrombin protein starting it is present in the inactive form. So this inactive protein released by the liver, and that protein enters into blood. So that means it will be always present in the blood. When the blood is flowing, this protein also flowing there. Second thing, thrombokinase. This is one enzyme, and already I have told you, ASC suffix indicates enzyme name. Thrombokinase, this is one enzyme, and this enzyme present in a tissue, in all tissues. It is one histological enzyme, so it is present in all tissues, right? And this enzyme get activated whenever there is a damage to the tissue. Say for example, skin is a tissue, epithelial tissue, and a wall of the blood vessel. That wall of the blood vessel is nothing but that is also epithelial tissue. We will call it as a endothelium. This is endothelium, and this is the epithelial cell, epithelial tissue. So whenever that tissue get damaged, inside every tissue there is this protein, this enzyme, thrombokinase. That enzyme start working. And the next one is fibrinogen. Fibrinogen also protein, and this is also inactive form of protein. And one more, keep one thing in your mind. Pro means it indicates a little bit inactive form, that is not working earlier. After activation, we will remove this prefix. We will remove the pro. We will consider as only thrombin. Thrombin means active form. Prothrombin means inactive form. Who will produce that one? Liver. So in the same way, the liver also produces another protein, that is the fibrinogen. And fibrinogen, it is one type of soluble protein. It is one soluble protein. That means it is already dissolved in the blood, flowing in the blood. When fibrinogen protein, when it becomes insoluble form, then it forms small fine thread-like structures. Those thread-like structures help in the clotting process. Both the proteins get released by the liver, and especially automatically their blood should be having calcium. Through our diet, we will be having that calcium, the main component of the bone. So because of presence of this calcium, all the process, all these parts are going to work. And and here one factor is initiating another factor during the blood clotting process. Now let's start from the tissue cut. Now the skin is cut, along with that one blood vessel also cut. That means the tissue get damaged. When the tissue damaged, that means the damaged cells. When the tissue get damaged, so those tissues, what they are going to do? They are going to release thrombokinase enzyme released by the damaged tissues. Why? Because there is cut. this thrombokinase tissue, it is going to act on this thrombokinase tissue, it is going to act on prothrombin protein. Which protein? Prothrombin. It is already present in the blood. Who has produced that one? A liver. So but it is present in the inactive form. That means it acts on prothrombin. PT, prothrombin. Which enzyme? Thrombokinase. Who released this one? Damaged tissues. Now prothrombin, for this process to happen, there must be calcium ions. By using the calcium ions, the thrombokinase will convert the prothrombin into thrombin. So here prothrombin is inactive form and thrombin is active form. Now the protein is activated. Which protein? Thrombin protein is activated. Now this thrombin protein, it activates fibrinogen. In that sense, fibrinogen, it is converting into fibrin protein. Fibrinogen is converting into fibrin protein. That means it is acting on fibrinogen. So it is one protein. But thing is, this protein is soluble and this one is insoluble. So in the soluble, fibrin protein forms a thread-like structures like this. So these are insoluble thread-like structures form the clot. Yes, this is the thing. And majorly here, for this process to happen, beginning, so imagine blood vessel is having this much of diameter. When there is cut, blood started oozing outside, there is a blood loss. Then when there is a decrease in the, when there is a blood is oozing outside, at that time, so the blood vessel, its a diameter should be constricted. When its a diameter is constricted, then the flow of blood outside, that volume also reduces. So the decreasing the diameter of the cut blood vessel, that process we will consider it as a vasoconstriction. Yes, this vasoconstriction, that means constriction of the blood vessel. When there is a vasoconstriction, at the time there is accumulation of platelets. That means, so here the area is constricted. So here the areas get constricted. Along with that one, platelets which are already flowing in the blood, through the blood, those platelets are accumulated at this place. And along with that one, already the clot is going to form fine thread network like structure formed by the fibrin protein. So in between gap, so here the platelets get accumulated, right? When the platelets accumulation is more, so at the time, so it seems to be one sealing mechanism, that whatever the gap is there here, that gap will be sealed, just like sealing the cement with the help of cement. So here also the gap will be sealed and the leakage of blood will be stopped here. So for all this process to happen, the first thing is there should be vasoconstriction. Vasodilation means the diameter of the blood vessel will increase, but here the vasoconstriction is going to happen. So along with this vasoconstriction, these major 4 factors will help for the clotting of blood. That means clotting process is at most important. If there is no clotting, means blood continuously oozes outside. How much blood we are having? An average person, adult person, 5 liters of blood. If the blood started oozing out continuously, means the volume of the blood will get decreases. When volume of blood get decreased, at the same way, whatever the BP is maintained in the blood vessel, that BP also falls down. When the BP falls down, then the sufficient amount of oxygen and nutrients, whatever passing through the blood, they cannot be distributed to all the sufficient body parts. So in that sense, the person is die. So because of that reason, there must be the process of blood clotting. But one question will be arised. Of course, all these factors are already present in the blood, right? All of these factors are already present in the blood, but whenever there is a damage to the blood vessel, then only blood will clot, then only the passing of the blood will be stopped, blood clotting occurs. But my question, even though all these factors are already present in the blood, why the blood will not clot when it is passing internally inside the body through the blood vessels? This process occurs whenever there is a damage to the blood vessel, then only. But even though all the factors are already present there inside only, why the blood clotting process will not occur? This is my question, or simple question. In convincing way I am telling you, when we will take a blood outside, blood will clot, ಹೆಪ್ಪಗೆಟ್ಟುತ್ತೆ blood ಬಾಡಿಲಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ತೆಗೆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ. When we will take blood outside the body, blood will clot. But when the same blood is present inside the body, when it is flowing continuously, why the blood will not clot? This is my question. Yes. So tomorrow I think, I hope you'll write the answer for this question. Why the blood will not clot when it is present inside the body? This is my simple question, right? So here, this total method, this mechanism, it was given by two scientists, Best and Taylor. So because of that reason, of course many scientists have given their perception of how the blood is going to clot. So this is the best perception given by Best and Taylor. Best Taylor mechanism of blood clotting. And if you want to see this one, how actually this blood clotting process is happening, how actually this process will occur. So here is one small video. Look at the video and compare that video with this mechanism. Yes, see the video first.
Blood coagulation. Before we start the topic blood coagulation, let us take a glance of components of the blood. Red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets collectively constitute 45% of blood. Rest 55% of blood contains plasma. Fibrinogens are needed for clotting or coagulation of blood. Our body contains a natural process to stop bleeding from minor cuts in a matter of several minutes. When a small artery is cut, the collagen fibers in its tissue are exposed, which signals the clotting process to begin. As platelets begin to adhere to the cut edges, they release chemicals to attract even more platelets. Eventually, a platelet plug is formed and the external bleeding stops. Platelets attach to fibrinogen. The immobilized fibrinogen attracts the factor of blood coagulation. The factors of blood coagulation transform the fibrinogen in polymers of fibrin. Thrombokinase is an enzyme complex that is required for this reaction. This complex is formed by a series of linked enzymic reactions, cascade process, involving a number of factors present in the plasma in an inactive state. After the formation of fibrins, molecules of plasmins start to get attracted to fibrin net. Later on, these molecules destroy the fibrin net. The fibrinolytic degradation products are phagocyted by macrophages and eosinophils, and the normal blood flow is restored.
Yes, thank you. So I think you have understood this, how the process is actually, the blood clotting process is occurring. So when the blood will clot, blood vessels will clot, or when the skin get ruptured, so after a few days we will get a black mark here, right? So that black mark will be removed, then the new skin get formed, a new epithelial tissue get formed there. So actually that black color structure what we are going to get, so that means the clot get totally sealed, and when the new skin get or new blood vessel get formed means, so for that process to happen, so here one important factor is helping, plasmin. So this plasmins are the small proteins. Those proteins are attached at this place and they will remove that clot mark and they help in the formation of new tissue. That means skin and blood vessels becomes as it is new. So for that one the helping factor is plasmin. And here just a check, for majority of the components which are majorly helping for the blood clotting process, so majorly two factors given by the liver itself. That means liver is at most important for the clotting process to happen. A very major one, liver. If something there is a damage with the liver, if something disturbed with the liver, if there is any infection attacking to the liver means, then the blood clotting process also little bit affected. So for example, liver producing, say for example if I consider this one, liver producing prothrombin protein, and for that production the liver should be having vitamin K. Yes, whenever liver will get a vitamin K, then liver will produce the prothrombin, that will be converting into thrombin. Thrombin will convert fibrinogen into fibrin. Fibrin helps in the formation of the clot. That means step by step reactions. So the liver should be present in healthy condition. And one more thing, liver should get vitamin K. If the liver don't get vitamin K, then the whole process get disturbed. Along with that one, the calcium ions are must. Why? Because for working of thrombokinase there must be calcium ions. So that means calcium, vitamin K, even though those are minute things, those are at most important for this blood clotting process to happen. And this vitamin K, it is majorly present in greeny leaf vegetables. Greeny leafy vegetables. And majorly we can get that one majorly in spinach, palak palle, mente palle. So whatever the greeny leaf vegetables we are eating daily in our diet, so all the greeny leaf vegetables are best source for vitamin K. Then the blood will be clotted normally. So this is how actually the blood clotting process is occurring, right? In the next video class, let us consider another major concept, very interesting concepts related to the life process. Yes, thank you.